I'm just going to shoot in the dark here.
Okay.
If I had to guess, I see Johnny has a problem. Do you have a problem with the Oscar selections? Is that what I'm seeing? I'm seeing Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis. They're at conflict. I don't know. It's blurry. Am I on the right path?
You nailing it.
So back to what I was saying.
What's up, friends, family, and fans? Welcome to Life on Podcast. This is where we listen and inspire friends in entertainment.
And everywhere.
True. Because life happens to everybody. I'm your host, Stone Stafford, with my right or die,
Johnny Vaughn.
Johnny Vaughn. And the Oscar goes to you.
You know what? No, it wouldn't. I would never win an Oscar. It would never happen.
No, you do act the fool pretty well.
No, this is true.
There it
but
is.
It doesn't matter. It's almost like the better you act, the least likely you are to actually get it in some cases. I don't think I would get it. I think they would snub me.
That sounds personal.
I think they would snub me for probably 20 years. They would.
So I'm just gonna shoot in the dark here.
Okay.
If I had to guess, let me rub my crystal mic.
Oh shit.
Whoa. We might need to edit that one out. That didn't look good at all.
Didn't look right, Playboy.
That didn't look good at all. I'm gonna rub whatever. I see.
You could have just
Johnny.
you could have done the cabeza
I
thing.
could have done my own head. You're right.
That.
Absolutely right. I see Johnny has a problem. Do you have a problem with the Oscar selections? Is that what I'm seeing? I'm seeing Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis. Is that mud wrestling, Jello wrestling? They're at conflict. I don't know. It's blurry. It's blurry. Am I on the right path?
You nailing it.
I need a show on Lifetime.
Might not be against the mud wrestling thing if it would have happened.
Right.
Just put it out.
Yes.
I do have a problem with it. I watched it. I was on air. And a few months ago, I actually made a statement in a break where I was talking about the Woman King and Wakanda Forever.
Right.
And I said that these two performances are Best Actress, Best Actor, and Best Supporting.
Right.
I said that. Mm-hmm. And I jokingly said, Academy, the Oscars, all of y'all, the ancestors are watching. You do right by.
I saw you do the little
I did
Chris Rock hand thing.
that. And I thought, and this isn't, let's get this out here now. This isn't because Johnny's black and these are black actors and actresses. These were performances that moved me to a point to where I felt something.
Okay.
And the way I listen to music and consume media, I don't feel a lot anymore. I'm watching everything in a very detached state. I can enjoy it.
Right.
I can take something from it, but
Nothing moves you.
very few things move me now.
But that's kind of true in regular life, though. Like,
It
as far
is.
as your personality.
No, and that's point exactly.
Right.
So in watching these two films, I was moved, like conflicting emotions inside. I'm not gonna say I was on the brink of tears, but I felt conflict from what they were delivering, and I felt like I wasn't watching a movie. I was watching these actual individuals, and I saw everything everywhere all at once. Dope. I mean, I'm a real cerebral type of person anyway, so I loved it. I just wasn't moved the way I was.
I don't think that. It didn't give you a chance to be moved.
It did not.
The moment you were about to be like, oh, that was cool. Oh, you wanted something else. Like,
Yep.
oh, that was I wanted something else.
It was a Rubik's Cube, and I think it was done extremely well with the way they approached it. But extremely.
You had to be on
elevated.
like hallucinogenics and all that kind of stuff to both write and direct.
Probably
that
some
movie.
DMT involved
Like,
with that.
Seriously,
I'm not
man.
gonna doubt that at all. So yes, so yesterday, while I was in the studio and it was coming up, I was getting ready to do my last break, and I said, "Here it goes. This is what's about to happen." And they had the 4 squares open, and I just knew we were gonna see Angela smile, lean over, kiss Courtney B. Vance. Which, by the way, it was his birthday yesterday. He turned 63, and he actually said, "The only thing I want for my birthday is for Angela to get her Oscar." And it wasn't even so much about that. That performance was the best supporting performance of last year, hands down. Okay. And this is, again, it's opinionated. But if you go back, even when I asked you, had you seen everything?
Right.
You were like, Jamie Lee Curtis was in that?
Yeah.
Did
but
you remember? Did you remember? Did you remember she
I
was in it?
did not remember right off the bat she did, but I also didn't recognize her immediately either. And I was sitting there, I was like, wait, that's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
You know, so that might have helped it not stick.
It could have been,
You know?
but
I remember the character.
you're not gonna forget the character.
Yep.
But and this could be me being too deep. When a
No.
I know, right? when a
Shock.
when a character makes me remember them, I tend to go and look up. You know, who is this? Who did this? Who moved me? Who brought me to that emotion? I didn't have that for really any of the characters in that movie. I love the movie,
Right.
but I wasn't moved to the point of needing to go research it. And I feel like Angela Bassett was snubbed for a second time. And I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon with a lot of what other people were saying, just because it's nothing new under the sun with what's being said. Jamie Lee Curtis is Hollywood royalty, and the way these award shows have been seemingly functioning lately is that they give the award to whoever's in their cliques who haven't gotten one, or whoever they deem this, and not so much based off of what the performance is.
Like when the Asians broke ground and broke records, they were like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
Back to
yeah.
not that they didn't deserve it, but I'm just saying.
There was a little bit of foreshadowing that happened at the beginning. Like I was listening to Jimmy Kimmel's opening monologue, and he cracked some jokes that was like, okay, maybe tonight's not going to go the way we think it's going to go. Because that Irish joke he cracked when he was just like, there's a lot of diversity. That we got people from every corner of Ireland, and it was just like he was just saying it's still all white people. Is pretty much what he said. I died laughing,
that one.
and then I was like, man, they're gonna still do that. They're still gonna do it. Watch. But I thought that it was gonna be based more so off of the movement of the performances. And again, I said this in my TikTok and my Instagram yesterday. No disrespect to Jamie Lee Curtis. I am a soft fan. I like her as a person, but I think she might have been the third best in that category last night. So
really?
for her to win it,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm tossed. So, I mean, I think both movies were obviously well done.
absolutely.
I think if there was an avant-garde award, that would go to everything, everywhere, all the places, anytime.
Can't even remember that. But EEAAO, or however.
Well, so
however
with
they break it
that
up.
movie, to me, they threw in the kitchen sink. Like I said, somebody popped some shrooms and was like, let's make a movie.
Sure.
But even when they did it, I was like, when she put the world or the universe on a bagel, like that sent me. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I loved it. It made no sense. It was ridiculous, but then I loved it. Mm-hmm. And it kept doing that. Mm-hmm. So it definitely kept me aware, kept me on my seat, kept me edged. You know, with Woman King, I'm not going to say been there, done that. See, I know where this is going to go. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that obvious.
Wait, Woman King or Wakanda? Are you talking about Angela Bassett?
Yeah, Angela Bassett.
Okay.
Yeah, Angela Bassett. It wasn't that, but it also wasn't anything I hadn't seen before, if that makes sense. Like, there was nothing groundbreaking in it, except seeing a black woman portrayed in that role.
Oh, I disagree, but okay.
Yeah, that's for me. Like, it wasn't like, whoa, nothing made me like, whoa, except some of the fighting scenes.
I got you.
I will say this. Now, if anyone should have won a freaking Oscar, it'd be the fight choreographer for that movie. Because, look, and y'all can come after me if you want. I'm not scared of you, whatever. But female fight scenes rarely move me as much as male fight scenes do. I'm sorry. They just don't. Every once in a while there'll be some good ones. Yeah. Like Scarlett Johansson has been in some really good ones. Yeah.
Really good ones. There's a lot of good ones in Black Widow.
Yeah. So the fight scenes in Woman King got me. I was like, these are dope. If anything, body should have won an Oscar, I think something like that. But as far as the acting stuff's concerned, honestly, once I realized who Jamie Lee Curtis was, when I realized, that was Jamie Lee Curtis.
Then you did the toss-up thing.
I liked the character. And as far as I'm concerned, she did her thing with that character. Like,
I didn't say she did.
To me, it was a toss-up. Now,
she did it.
If in Woman King,
are we still talking about Woman King?
Angela, I'm going back and forth between the two.
Wakanda forever. You keep calling it.
I keep calling it Woman King. You're right. That's okay.
That was Viola Davis.
That's Viola Davis. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's okay. Wakanda forever. All right. So scratch this thing I said before. I was like, if they gave these names, there's too many names involved for me right now. If they gave remember I said they gave Angela Bassett a fighting scene, then that would have edged me out, but that wouldn't have made any sense. I was thinking Woman King. Is what I was thinking.
Well, you know what? So that actually,
Angela did. I mean, Viola did have a fight scene in Woman King. Did she?
She had a couple.
Yeah, she did. Okay, so as you can see, I'm not really there.
However, but this actually speaks to a lot of what
I know y'all
what
listening
happens
is like, Stone, what the hell are you talking? Shut up. Let Johnny talk.
No. What actually has been happening too is a lot of people in some of the threads. I read a lot of threads and a lot of comments, and they were talking about the fact that most people haven't watched all of the movies that were in the categories, which is true.
Right,
most people don't, and everybody comes into it biased with what they've seen and how they feel about it. And I will be giving a disservice to the truth if I didn't admit that, yes, there are a lot of people that felt Angela Bassett should have won simply because she's a black woman and she's been snubbed before already. Right. There's a bunch of people with that. However, Angela Bassett is a goddess when it comes to the acting world, and nobody's going to deny that. So she deserves everything that she has won and everything that she hasn't.
Yeah. I believe she definitely deserved it for What's Love Got to Do with It.
No question.
Even more than Wakanda.
No question about it. Absolutely. Yeah. But with what you just said and getting the two movies mixed up, that's one of the things that I have to make sure I still acknowledge is that sometimes people are still fair weather viewers. They aren't really wrapped up into it. Now, me working in radio, obviously, again, I was live when it came on. I was on the air at 8 o'clock when it came. So I'm talking about the intro as it's happening and the first... Like when Del Toro won, when The Rock and oh my God, what's her name? She played Mary Poppins. I always do this, and I love her. No. And I love her because one of my favorite lines in any movie ever came from her. She said "No shant" in Devil Wears Prada. I always Emily Blunt.
Oh
yeah, they gave away the first one. So I mean, I had the first 2, 3, 4 awards when I was still live. So I have to know these things. I have to follow up with it. And I do my best to listen to all of the albums when it's Grammy time. I do my best to at least watch the primary films that are in the major categories. I don't make it to some of the obscure stuff just because of time. And I admit that a lot of people don't do that. And they have their favorites. But when you get down to a situation like this, where you have two titans that are up against each other, I simply go back to which performance moved the most people. And what you said about everything, everywhere, all at once, I think could be true. It was such a Rubik's Cube of a movie where it twists and turns so quickly. Maybe it didn't give you enough time to get vested emotionally enough to be moved. Right. And that may have done a bit of a disservice to the character that Jamie Lee Curtis played for me.
Right. However,
in Wakanda Forever, you don't have that. You have amazing character and world development. And then you have dynamite performances. The monologues in that movie are just phenomenal. And you can pick one and watch it and tell me it doesn't strike some emotion. And that's where it goes back to for me. And I've gotten to the point now, when we talk about do award shows even matter, and we get deep into what is the meaning of it, when who wins what, when you can't even recognize, 5 tracks off of an album, or you don't know the body of work of this actor or actress who just won this award, it goes back to the emotion from the performance that was nominated. And I just don't think that Jamie Lee Curtis's performance had enough gravitas to outdo some of the other performances that were in that category.
You haven't used that word in a while.
Gravitas?
Thanks for bringing it back. But I don't know. I don't know. I think what the reason why I lean with the Jamie thing is there's so many shock value moments, which kind of make them memorable. Like I said, Wakanda was just solid all the way through.
Sure.
The Everything Everywhere in the Universe at the same time yesterday.
You gonna learn the name.
That one, it kept having these jolts throughout it. It kept jolting you. So it's almost like falling asleep and then keep waking up. And as soon as you wake up, you remember that thing that woke you up. And it kept having, not that I fell asleep during the movie, but it had
just attention grabbers.
Had so many attention grabbing moments. And I think with Jamie as well, what made it giving her the edge is this the context that her character was put in. The movie in and of itself was just on some other stuff.
Okay.
So to just be associated with that in that context, you might get a little bit of a shoe in. You know what I mean? And Wakanda, now this might go against Wakanda, seeing how we already had Black Panther and stuff like that. Wakanda was just next in the series. It's kind of like, okay, I've been in this world, da-da-da-da. So there can be some involuntary passe that is placed on you.
You are absolutely right, and I hate that you made that point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I get what you're saying on that. At the same time, I think there's another side of it that could be argued that we have because she had an amazing performance in the first one too.
Yeah, no, she did.
So that's continuity and consistency. And what do we?
I get it. I'm going to find points. I get it, but like I said, like again,
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
I think I hadn't thought about it from that standpoint, and I think you're absolutely right that it could have been a little bit of a, because this is a sequel and we've already seen it,
and then not only that, especially now, like Together, All the Things Everywhere Tomorrow, like that one was fresh. Like it felt fresh. It did. It felt fresh.
Okay.
To me, it felt fresh. Like it was nice. It was almost like if Quentin Tarantino came with a new one all together. It was just fresh.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I think they both did an amazing job. I'm not mad at who won. I don't necessarily. I would love for the sister to have won it, definitely, especially because I more so would have wanted Angela to win because she didn't get it. Now that was a total F up.
Oh, absolutely.
For her not to get it for What's Love Got to Do with it.
But see, for me, it just looks like this is
She was owed that.
This is just 2 times now. It's just 2 times she's been
I
snubbed.
get it.
And there's been some other performances she's had since that I think she should have been nominated for and potentially won for, and she didn't even get nominations for. So
Maybe she should team up with Chris Rock next time.
Duh.
That'll get her an
Please
Oscar.
stay away from that clown.
That'll
my
get an
gosh.
Oscar. Remember I tried to do my Chris Rock the other day? I can't. I'm going to save my voice.
Well, okay, so on that, because I'm gonna start
Chris?
getting mad if we keep talking about Angela Bassett, because I'm about to.
I know, you get it.
I'm about to devolve into pettiness and just say Jamie Lee Curtis won because the whole
don't.
she's royalty thing and
Oh,
she's Tony Curtis
I
and
think it was
Janet
more
Leigh's
so-
daughter.
I think that's kind of taken away from her a little bit. She did an amazing job in that
She
film.
did.
She
No
really did.
disrespect to her talent. She's very talented. However, like I said, I'm so hot underneath, and I think I'm keeping my cool very well, that I'm ready to be petty and just say that's nepotism. That's what that is. That's what it feels like to me. I'm sorry.
But what did you start to say about Chris? What was the problem with Chris?
It sucked.
Did you see the special?
Yeah, of course. Once again, I was live I was at the radio station when it was on. So shout out to my boy DJ Reggie B's. He spends most of our mixes at Kiss 104.1, so make sure you check him out. He also hosts on B98.5. But Reggie needed to record that for the morning show for Frank and Nina for the next day.
All right.
And I was like, bro, don't. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna leave, Johnny. So if you're gonna voice check, because he like to mess with me, because every once in a while, if I get sleepy and I don't have a lot of giveaways, sometimes Johnny will voice track an hour or two. I'll just record it and then I'll leave. And Reggie knows that because sometimes he's that late. So I was like, nah,
So you
bro.
mean there are times when like the radio DJ is actually not in the studio?
Dude, in today's radio industry, more times than not, especially on these pop stations, a lot of stuff's voice track. Yeah, you just never. It's amazing how we make you feel like we're still sitting there, right? Dude, I've been at events and someone will see me and it was like, is that you? I'm like, yeah, it's magic. It's that kind of thing.
No,
I told him don't come back. I was like, I'll get it for you. I'm gonna be here anyway, because I don't think I was getting out till midnight that night. And I was like, I'm live. I'm in the studio. No need for you to drive home and drive back. So I set the record. I turn it on. I kick back. And I'm like, all right, let's see if Chris gonna be funny, because. Full transparency, I am not a Chris Rock fan. Never have been.
Neither am I. Nothing.
The only
against
thing
him,
he's nothing
just
against
not
him.
the
It's just
biggest
not
fan.
not my cup of tea. Mainly because of his style of being hyper repetitive. Like he'll say the same thing 3 times, like you missed
He did it all through it.
I hate that. I'm like, dude, I heard you the first time, and I know what it is.
Roaches are nasty.
Yeah.
They nasty. That's right.
Okay.
Roaches are nasty.
And I'm just like, yeah, you tasted a roach that we know you didn't like it. Got it, bro. The funniest thing he ever did for me, can I get one rib? That's the funniest thing he's ever done for me. He's never been funny to me.
Pootie Tang is embarrassingly funny. I hate the fact that I laugh at that movie. I genuinely do. But it is what it is. That dude's done things with some belts that I'm glad Pootie Tang wasn't out when I was growing up with my mom.
Please talk to me about this. Tell me.
About the Pootie with the belt skills?
Talk about it.
Oh man, my mom has some belt skills. Like she was just
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't want to talk about it. That makes her feel bad all the time. But hey, if any of y'all think I'm a gentleman today, you got my mom in that belt to thank.
For that.
No, true story. Like, honestly, and look, we're not going to get into this because this is a soapbox for me, as you already know.
That's what I'm trying. I'm nudging you.
No, don't. Because I'm not going to sidetrack onto this. Because,
Camera
look,
2.
I understand where y'all call abuse and all this. I get it. And I don't say I totally disagree. I'm not going to say that because I agree. And even my mom today, she feels bad about some of our moments. But I'm not saying the end justifies the means. I have to say that.
Okay.
However, I can also say that if I didn't have that reverent fear of my mom, now that reverent fear didn't necessarily have to come from a belt, but I can tell you this, that reverent fear, what's one of my words? That reverent fear also would not have come from having a conversation. I can tell you that unequivocally.
Because that cabeza is too hard.
But when we were, and that time when me and my friends were doing some stupid stuff and that car almost crashed and we were running from the cops and the cops caught me, first thing out of my mouth is, don't tell my mom. I can care less that it was a cop. I can care less if I was going to go to jail or juvie, whatever they sent little kids or whatever. First words was, don't tell my mom. I was with the car with some of my friends and found out they were about to go, steal from this store, rob the store. I said, let me out. Not because we were going to get caught. Not because it was a crime. I said, if my mom finds out, I'm dead. Like literally just that reverent fear of my mom has kept me out of making bad decisions, even though I knew they were bad decisions. But kids are going to do what they do. So all that being said, shout out to the belt. It has quite literally saved my life. Again, people like to hear some of y'all so soft. Yeah, I'm saying it. Some of y'all so soft and so super sensitive. You hear stuff that I'm not saying. I'm not saying, go out and beat your kids. I'm not saying that. You just have to know your child. You know what your child responds to.
That was way more tame than I thought it was going to be.
No, because I'm at that place. 'Cause I have nieces and nephews, like my niece Lexi, when she was growing up. I just look at her stern and crocodile tears coming out. No way in the world I would touch that little girl in any way, shape, or form. Keon, another story. He's a 5-year-old NFL football player with a Trump mentality of I'll do what I want.
Okay.
The type where you tap him and he look at you like, nigga, what? You know what I'm saying? So I had to go in on him a couple of times. I mean, he's 21 now, but I literally got a thank you from him. I said, he was the only uncle that I really respected.
Okay.
So just know, at the end of the day, it's just know your child.
All right,
and there's a difference, and I'm going to say this last thing, there's a difference between beating and, we'll just use the word spanking. There is a huge difference. And it's all in the attitude and the heart behind it.
I'm beating your ass out of love.
Yeah, that's not. And so let's be clear. I'm not an advocate for beating. I am not. And so you're still striking your child. There's a difference. There's a difference between a street fight and boxing. Okay. There's a difference between street fight and UFC. Right? It's the attitude behind in which you do. With me, when I did it with my nephews and stuff, my whole thing was, we talked about this. You're not getting it. You have to get it as of yesterday. And you're not getting it through this means. So a little shock and awe is what you need. And most of the time it clicks. Okay. But it's backed up by all that love they got before. So it's for me, it's hard for the kid to misunderstand it. But not all parents can do that. Same way not every teacher can teach CRT, right? Okay. Not all parents can spank their child what I feel is correctly. So therefore, I don't advocate it. Now you know my stance if you never knew my stance before. Beat your baby right back. There you go, ruining it all.
Shout out to Chris Rock.
So let's go back to Chris Rock. Yeah,
being Daddy Tang and bringing back some
Daddy Tang.
I did not enjoy the special.
I thought he had the genius nuggets.
The opening joke when he was doing the whole triggered. Everybody's triggered. Yes, he said triggered like 5 times. Like, okay, so we're gonna be in that mode all day. And then
and I agree with him 1,000%.
His whole set of jokes, one felt stale because it was stuff that people have already done stand-ups on, and then 2, it set you up. You knew what his closer was gonna be. You knew it was gonna be the Will Smith thing. It had to be that. That's what his whole thing was about. And it just never got to a point to where I felt like that was gonna be a great peak. For what it was supposed to be, and for this to have been like Netflix's first live comedy special, and the legendary Chris Rock, and it felt flat to me.
But you know what it's like?
Forced.
And some people are going to think I'm committing blasphemy here, but I compare it to Dave Chappelle. I think Dave is a comedic genius. Am I always busting my ribs and my gut laughing at these things? No, but he'll say some stuff and slide that truth in there where you be like, dang.
Well, see, it's different. It's different with Dave, and I have this conversation with people all the time. I know Dave's a comedian.
I'm not saying he's as good as Dave.
No,
he's not even close.
I know Dave is a comedian. I haven't laughed at Dave Chappelle in 15 years. I love Dave Chappelle. And people are like, man, how you not laugh? You don't think he funny? Like, no, he's not funny because he ain't joking. And y'all are taking this serious stuff that he's saying.
His delivery still be funny though, man.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying it's not, but I mean, again, and it could just be my personality.
I think it's
not. I'm like, I can't. I'm sitting there disagreeing. I'm like, yep, facts.
It's like
and that's just me.
What's the white comedian? He's always talking about serious topics, always political stuff. He's George Carlin.
Yeah.
I agree with some of the genius people say of a George Carlin. I agree with them. I don't think I've ever. That's not true. I can think of a couple times where I laughed, but I'm like you.
No, most of
Dave
it was,
Chappelle.
it was.
Most of the time I don't laugh, but I'll be like, "Yo, that was smart."
Yeah,
You know what I mean,
but
I
that's the
don't really
thing.
laugh.
It was social commentary with light punches, and then a dagger.
Yes, it's the dagger.
Yeah.
It's the dagger
And
that
the
gets you.
dagger's
I
what
love
gets
when
you.
that dude said he was like, "Damn, all y'all triggered by all this, the abortion, blah blah blah." When he was sitting there, like, "Look, I don't subscribe to it. I'm pro-life, whatever." But he said, "But I want my daughters growing up in a society where they get to choose what happens with their own body." And he spent time on that, and he's getting the applause. Woo, yeah! People
And
like, "Oh my
repeating
gosh,
himself over and
I
over
thought
again.
Chris was whack. He's actually not. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, pro-choice. All this stuff. He goes, so he's like, "Women, no man should tell you what you should do with your body. No man should tell you what you should do with your body. That's right. No man should." I'm just
Keep counting because it was like 5 or 6 times.
But
Keep
then he
going.
was like, "If you want to kill babies, you have the right to." I was like, "There it is. There's the dagger." I loved it.
I struggled so hard with that part because again, when he started doing it, I was like, okay, there's gonna be a bait switch here. I saw it coming, and then when he got to the punchline, I was like, that's exactly what I thought he was gonna say.
It was
so this is my thing on it, and I said I wasn't gonna say what I felt about it. Yeah, he didn't turn you.
wow.
I don't know why
My
you
bad.
be the first one. Hey guys, turn your cell phones
My
off.
oven is being reheated.
Turn your cell phones
But
off.
Go ahead.
And everybody I've talked to that enjoyed it was 50 plus.
That's because we're smart and we're wise.
No, it's you
And
old
we
people.
have experience.
It's you old people that's boring.
But that's another way of saying
no, it's
smart,
not.
wise.
No, it's not because
experience. You already know I don't agree.
That's fine. I don't care.
44th president.
At
Go
my,
ahead.
at my,
45th. Excuse me. Pardon me, President Obama. I did not mean that.
as a 30-something-year-old, I've got more experiences than a lot of 50-years, and I just think this is not going to come out right. Okay, I know
let
that
it
this
come
is
out.
sound
Just gonna
wrong.
let it come out. There's no vomit that looks good.
There's a psychological development that hasn't been reached by the people that I have found that special funny.
Oh my gosh, here we go again. And we all must attain to Johnny's
No,
level.
it's not Johnny.
Here
it's
we
just
go. What is this enlightened level?
No, it's not enlightened.
Old okra high that we must reach.
The people who watched it, who saw it the way I did, have the ability to enjoy lowbrow and highbrow comedy and laugh at both and find the funny in both. And the people who found that funny have not developed a higher brow appreciation for stuff. I'm just telling you what I've experienced and the people I've talked to who enjoyed the show.
It was a very artful way of getting your point across.
I thought it was whack as hell.
And that's cool. But it has nothing to do that those that got it and laughed at it means, oh, you don't understand.
Well, no, it's been a
highbrow comedy.
Well, no.
You are not learned in the art of Oxford comedy.
Exactly. That's it. I have found that there'd be a smaller group of people that enjoyed it than that I've run into that did. Even people who are Chris Rock fans, like, it's exactly what I thought he was going to do, and I didn't really like it.
So here's my thing. I think you might even be getting me finding it hilarious, like ha ha ha, with yes, there's the dagger. Because I was more like the yes. I wasn't like, oh my God, that was so funny. No, I was like, I appreciated the dagger.
Oh, okay.
That's where I was. I was like, because I do that all the time.
Okay.
So I think that's a personal thing that I relate to.
I think it was boring.
Like he made a great point too.
I think it was weak. I think it was whack. I think he underthought some stuff, and I think he overthought some things for far too long. And fact that it took a year for it to even do those jokes. Again, that every joke that was in that was 2-3 years old. Now, granted, comedians work their material.
See, me, I don't get that deep in it. I'm like, did I like it, enjoy it, make me laugh? Did it get a reaction? And that thing could be 10 years old.
And okay, so I also, going back to the whole radio thing and me having to stay up on stuff so much, I could be doing a disservice to it for the simple fact that I'm always on to the next thing.
With it is what I call.
And it could
like
be
ever since when I started listening to the radio, and I'm sitting there like, yo, that's a dope mix. I was like, dang. Because the purity of the naivete of the ears of listening to music, I was losing it because it was now my profession. So stuff like the mix mattered. I was listening to the background arrangements and all this kind of stuff. I almost didn't like the fact that I couldn't just listen to the music for the music. And you might be in that boat.
Well, I'm not going to disagree that I'm there to an extent. However, there are comedians that I can sit back and just let go and just die laughing nonstop.
Jim Gaffigan.
I laugh at Gaffigan.
I love that
Gaffigan's
man.
funny.
Jim Gaffigan is hilarious.
Gaffigan's funny. One of my favorites, and I wish he would
Shout
do
out
something
to you, Jim Gaffigan, you German Nazi looking. He'll say it about himself, though, so that's not a diss. He'll say it all the time about himself. He might not say Nazi, but he'll definitely say German.
I got to look this up because I always forget his name, but he did that bit, The Machine.
The Machine.
Yeah. He went to Florida State, and they won this whole thing. He went to Russia, and he ended up
Black guy?
No, it was a white dude.
White dude.
The Machine,
Oh, you said Florida State. I'm thinking FAMU.
Yeah, nah.
I was like, good for you, bro.
What was his name? Bert. Yeah, Bert. Is it Bert Kreischer? I think I can never understand. He always does his bits like with his shirt off and all that stuff. You know, got the dad bod. He's hilarious. And then Anthony Jeselnik. I always laugh
I
at
like
Anthony because I mean Anthony says all of the cynical, evil stuff that my personality would say that people look at me like I'm crazy, but I get where he's coming from. And then you got your black comedians that I still laugh at. Like D.L. Hughley's another one. I used to not find D.L. funny, and then he's gotten funnier to me as I've gotten older.
He's gotten more into that lane too of the whole undercover, witty. I just stabbed you. You didn't even know it. Kind of comedy too.
Yeah, and I mean because
that takes a certain level of
it's
wit
growth.
and genius.
It's growth because I mean he used to do a bunch of crowd work, and he's one of the best crowd workers ever. I think. Like just watching him, my dad still has dreams of wanting to sit front row to go back and forth with him. I'm like, dude, don't do this. That dude's a professional.
Don't do that to yourself.
That guy's a professional.
Don't do that.
And I mean, my dad's got the whole bit broken down. I'm like, man, please don't do it to yourself.
Right.
But I mean, you got those comedians that like Kevin Hart actually still makes me laugh
to this day.
To this day,
he has his moments where I'll be like, that was whack.
Yeah,
but then he'll come with something, and I was like, that crap's hilarious.
And I mean, that's just, and the thing I struggle with too is kind of the same thing with like my favorite producer. Like, you know, Brian Cox, Timbaland are probably two of my favorite producers from my generation, and they love Kanye West. And I, for the life of me,
can't see
it. I'm just like, what am I missing? And that's how I feel about the comedy stuff because all of those comedians love Chris,
right?
And I'm like, is it just because he's your friend? Like, what is it? Because it's
nothing
not
to figure out, really. You know, it literally is just taste. Like there are plenty of people who think my goofiness and my silliness is funny, right? Tosh can't stand it, and since you're a Tasha fan, neither can you. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like people are like, oh my gosh, that was hilarious. And Tosh will be all that, he's corny. His jokes are stupid.
It's not that I
What's so funny, she'll call my jokes stupid and then she'll bust a gut. Laughing
at the jokes.
And I'll be like, she was like, that was dumb.
Sometimes stupid is funny. But for me, it's the fact that sometimes you don't know when you're being too corny. And that's the part that
the genius behind it is that I do.
Oh, we're calling ourselves geniuses?
No, I'm pulling the Johnny. This is what Johnny will do all day long.
Wait a minute.
This is what Johnny will do all day long. But I do know, I like the whole dad joke thing, like just how those are corny on purpose.
Sure.
There are plenty of times I'm corny on purpose.
Okay.
On purpose. It adds to the persona.
Okay.
And what psychologically, believe it or not, it actually de-arms people. It elevates and this is something I read, so this isn't something I invented.
No, I'm listening.
But it really does. It actually elevates the comfort level of the room because it's unconsciously.
It's humanizing.
Not only does it humanize, it actually levels you up above me if we're going to see it because that was so dumb and so stupid. No one ever sees themselves as that dumb, that stupid. So that I kind of just place myself a little bit below you by doing that. You know what I mean? And I don't mind it.
That's some 48 Laws of Power crap. I got you.
I don't know. I don't read that in 48 Laws of Power. But
I mean, it is. It's one of those. It's one of those deals.
And I have enough self-confidence.
Especially if you're in a room where it's like the whole never outshine the master thing, which is one of the.
It's along those lines.
But yeah.
So I know when I'm being dumb.
I'm not mad at
it.
But
that's not to say there are some times when I'm dumb and corny, and I just find that crap funny.
I've seen you laugh at yourself.
Absolutely, I am my own best friend. I say it all the time.
Sat there with his straightest face, and then I can't help but laugh. I'm not laughing at what you did. I'm laughing at the fact that you're laughing at yourself.
Case in point, there's a story that went around the industry for a little while. When I say that, it's not like it's worldwide, but people in our circle, our industry, where we were somewhere. I was kind of just disengaged with everybody, and I was off to the side, and I had just read a joke or saw a joke where someone said, what is this? And they said, what? He said a spider doing push-ups on a mirror. I thought that was just the funniest thing in the world. And so one day I was at this event, and it was like me, Tasha, this guy Nate Butler, big songwriter.
Shout out to Nate.
Sean Hall, another huge songwriter back then. I'm over there going, and I was making the sound and everything. And Sean looked over, and Sean was like, nigga, what are you doing? And of course, Sean made me look real creepy with it. Like he's over there talking something.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I was like, it's a spider doing push-ups in the mirror. To me, it was the funniest thing in the world. They thought I was just stupid and weird.
Internal inside jokes can get you in trouble with people.
So that's why
as a character trait,
others
don't. As a character trait for friends and family and somebody in your position, it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
I see professional comedians at a different, because I've been around a bunch of professional comedians, and some of them had that light switch where what you get on stage isn't them. I mean, some of us have it too, like even performers.
Absolutely.
But Chris is, from what I've heard, that's Chris, like kind of all the time. So he's just that. And I've never met him. So I don't want to act like I know firsthand. I've never met Chris personally. But just from what I've seen and from what I've heard from people who have been around him.
Want to hang around him.
Not really.
Like, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm cool on it.
I feel you.
And I'm not saying it wouldn't be a cool to meet him, because I have a respect, regardless of how I feel about his work. I have a respect for the fact that, one, he's been able to build a career that he has, because that crap is what he's done is almost impossible.
I have something to say about that.
So, and I mean, whether it was help from whatever, he has had a longevity that a lot of people have not and would not experience. So I respect that forever. But when it comes to, again, going back to the whole emotional movement thing, some comedians, the way they set up their jokes, it moves me. And it's just like the way he does it. The material may be good, but the way he comes up, kind of a nonchalant, laissez-faire, feeling for me, underprepared, that's the only reason I can rationalize why you repeat yourself so much, is to try to figure out what you,
and
like, how you tie it
together. If you ever look at his looks, it looks awkward.
Very.
It always looks like it's his first time on stage. And
yes.
And I just came to this, I was like, look, that's just him.
Yeah.
That's just how he looks. But it always looks awkward. But Mark Sanchez, remember Mark Sanchez? Quarterback?
Butt fumble.
It's so sad that that's always
associated with him, right? And I mean, I'm a USC Trojan fan, and he was our quarterback. Right. But I mean, I will always know him as butt fumble. That's
so
just what
Mark Sanchez, as bad of a quarterback as he was, I'm not saying anything. I'll be
Public knowledge.
Hard to find anyone outside of his family who disagrees.
He's a great college quarterback, but
so here's my point.
Yes,
as bad as I would say he was, I would check myself. I was like, dude, this fool's in the NFL.
Well, we talked about that before.
Right. So I was like, he's in the NFL as bad as he is. So when I say with comedians, even as dumb or you or I may think they are, and now I'm talking about comedians on the Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, that level, as even an Adam Sandler. Sometimes I don't understand how this man gets budgets for some of these movies.
Because he's just a good dude.
Dummiest things in the world.
But he's a good guy.
And that may be, but when you're operating on that level, though, that level of elite, there is whether you get it or not, and whether you can see it or not, there is a skill, and even a science-backed skill to that. These jokes that we're calling dumb, it's like, at the end of the day, there's a skill behind that, because the dude would not be sitting on HBO or Netflix or wherever it may be doing a comedy special if he was that bad of a comedian. And that's where I usually just kind of bow my head and say, hey, you got it. I just don't understand your genius, but there has to be some type of skillful genius there, or you wouldn't be on the level that you're at. And I walk away with that.
I got you.
That's what helps me go to sleep at night. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it is the facts. You can't just be some guy, you make your mom and dad and Pookie and them laugh, and all of a sudden you want to be this professional comedian.
I disagree.
Doesn't fly. Doesn't always fly.
I will say that the one, and again, this could just be my pessimism to just industry in general, because I've experienced some things and seen some things myself in my own career. At a certain point, somebody in power likes you, and that's how you get what you get. And that's
so the exception is not even funny.
It's so facts, bro.
All right, well, look, I'm sure y'all probably got opinions about this, so feel free to chime in.
Tell me what you think.
Yes, there's definitely a dichotomy.
Does Chris deserve to be on the pedestal he's on?
Do you feel that Angela Bassett got robbed? We want to know. All right, so you're going to do all that you can comment and everything. You can go to lifeonpodcast.com. That's our hub. And if you want to watch us, there's a little YouTube link. Just click on the YouTube link. Take you right to the YouTube channel. Yeah. All right, so we appreciate you all. Just so y'all know, last month we had 10,000 downloads.
Hey.
But thank y'all so much for your support. We appreciate it. So everything you need is on there. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. We love it. We're still on that mission. 1 million subscribers in 2023. I might need to be more specific on that, because we want 1 million on YouTube. And then another 1 million across the other platforms.
There you go.
Yeah. But you know what? If I see 1 million anywhere, we're going to be grateful. We're going to be grateful and thankful.
I ain't going to lie to you. If we can add them together and add to 1 million.
And 1 million, I'll still be grateful. You got that right. Yo, you can follow me, anything dealing with Stone Stafford. StoneStafford.com.
Just Johnny Vaughn, JUSTJONYVAN.
Yo, we had fun as always. We love y'all. See y'all next week. We out of here. Peace.
So back to what I was saying.